Thanks so much for joining us. Here with me I have Professor Mark Marsolias, who is a retired police officer from Houston, now a criminal justice professor at Thomas College, and Deshon Gaither, who has been at Thomas for 3 years but has been coaching basketball for 25. So let's hop right in and talk about policing in America. Now, you can take your mask off now. So my first question for y'all is, do you feel that racism exists in our current policing institutions?
Well, having spent 20 years in policing, I can definitely say that I observed racism, probably experienced racism. So I will say, yes, it does exist. I would think that it is limited in scope, and I think, we can explore that a little bit more.
Technology has come a long, long way since the Rodney King situation with the huge video camera. I mean, nobody's carrying that on their shoulders 24/7. Now you got phones and boom, 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 boom. And, and I can say this because when NWA came out with Straight Outta Compton, I think it was like 87, 88, it was finally something that was actually being talked about because you seen it. But even if you try to go and talk to somebody about it, they wouldn't believe it. And it's easy for you to fortify certain situations, you know what I'm saying? And everything. I had a couple uncles that went through that and everything else. So I think for me, that was kind of the thing that, okay, it's starting. We can see some certain things.
Well, I think, Deshon raises a couple of issues. Every police officer was not born. They came from somewhere. They came from a culture. There are people, yes, who, for whatever reason, believe their job, their policing job, is to keep others, and that's a really negative term, others in their place, okay? But having said that, there is a recognition. To me, my eyes got open to the different cultures and how the police interacted with them. It's a sense of discovery, and I think that anybody coming into policing, they'll have a background, and like he said, he learned stuff at an early age, and you have police officers that learn stuff at an early age, and it may be, a racist culture that they may grow up in, but they go into policing and their eyes get opened up and they become much more, culturally dynamic. They're much more at ease with different cultures because of policing. So in that respect, policing can be very, very good. It's there, it's something that has to be dealt with.
Well, just based on what both of you have said, do you feel that racism within our police institutions, get back to that original question, is subjective or objective? Do you think it's person to person, or do you think that you can blanketly say racism exists within our policing systems?
Racism is everywhere. That's how I feel about it. I don't think every cop is that way. It's man, at the end of the day, we're all people. And especially being in college atmospheres for a long time and seeing so much in my 47 years of life, it's how you deal with people. If you come off and you thinking the way I look or the way I dress is very threatening to you, well, talk to me first. Don't react to it. Me personally, it's been a lot. I got stopped coming home from elementary, walking home. When somebody comes really aggressive at me or whatever, and I don't have a gun, you do, you got all this authority or whatever.
We're emphasizing this sort of training, security, safety of the officer, weapons and stuff like that. It's violent out here, but that's the minority of the incidents that occur out there when they need police service. For me, he mentions the Rodney King incident. That's a pivotal time as far as policing and the use of force. That had a major impact. The next thing is 9/11. okay? In 9/11, policing had been going through this community policing era where there was a lot of good things happening, okay? Yes, was there racism in policing? Yes, there was. But there was a lot of good things as far as hiring practices, women, minority, all coming on, gay and lesbians being hired, all people that were part of the community getting into police work. 9/11 happens, and what happens to us as a country? We become militarized and suspicious of oh, where are they from? Oh, Pakistan. Or where are they from? Oh my God, they're from Afghanistan. And so next we start going back into this profiling thing. And since 9/11, we now get this anti-terrorism deal, and the police are told, you got to protect America. And now it starts to become us versus them again, where it wasn't. And I lived through the community policing era in Houston, and there was a lot of very, very good things out of that.
Talking about George Floyd, immediately following that was a massive rise in protests across country, across the world. And so I'm asking you two questions. You can give me a straight answer, you can give me a long answer, whatever you want. But I'm gonna ask both of you. But hearing the phrase Black Lives Matter, what does that mean to you? Being a former police officer, being a criminal justice professor, being a person?
I guess everything that I see that's on the positive side of me growing up, to seeing what they're trying to do now, because I guess the one thing that, and how some people have kind of trying to twisted it to being like the quote unquote Black Panthers and everything else. And it's different decades, man, different situations. It's just about a community of people trying to make a difference for the next generation. My thing is this, honestly, when it comes to Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter, at least be educated of what we're doing. Not going off what you see. You got to read about certain things. Sometimes you got to go deep in, a deeper meaning of what certain things mean sometimes. You just can't go off, I agree with that. Yeah, why you agree with it? But then when you get that pause, that's when you sit there like, come on, dude. Like, really? Why are you really doing, well, these cops, well, yeah, everybody feels that way. Or, why you with Black Lives Matter? Well, I'm black. Well, give me a little bit more than that you're black. Why are you really with the cause? It's just being educated on both.
What Black Lives Matter to me, and I'm kind of a product of the 1960s, is we're in America. People have a right to bring up issues that have to do with the quality of life in America. So Black Lives Matter to me is a positive protest movement. This is what's been going on. We're very concerned about it. We want changes, and to me it's been peaceful demonstration. I know the media likes to focus on the violence, but the thing is that for me, when Black Lives Matter, when that comes up, I say, that's America. You have a right to protest. If you protest your government, you can protest, treatment. You can do these things. So that's what that honestly, that's what that means to me. That's, in a package. So
to really put an end note on this and talk about unity and talk about our actual campus and sending our students off into the world, what's one way each of you feel that we can truly move forward and come together as a community to create a better Thomas environment, but also create a better world wherever our students go and wherever place they land? I know it's a big question as well, but
man, you can't muzzle the youth. I guess that's my thing. When I say that, I mean you can't have always old school thinking. Because how they look at it and how we look at it are two different things. But the youth who has everything at the power of their hands see a lot more than what we do or what we would ever engage in. Some people have never been out and seen the world enough to understand that it doesn't have to just be this way all the time. It can be this way.
You know, one of the things that Thomas does do for me, from faculty standpoint, is they, and especially the president, I mean, I know this, the president may review this, but she's always said, what can we do differently? What do we, you know, and so I've never experienced that before, other than in policing. We started with policing. They said, well, you know, what can we do differently? What, you know, how can we improve policing? Here it's always, you know, what can we do better? And so what can we come up with? My ultimate goal, and I think I hear a lot of this in what Deshon is saying, is we have to let our students know that it's incumbent upon them to be good citizens, no matter what major they're in, no matter what sport they play or don't play or whatever, is they're ultimately, and they represent themselves as citizens. And I think that was a really strong point. Not Thomas, not the coach, not me. They go out and say, I'm Citizen Reed, you know, and this is what I bring. And so I think it's really important that we keep striving, but I want the kids that come in here, the students that come in here, I want people to say, you know, they're asking questions and they're looking at a way of improving, you know, their own lives, but they are improving, you know, our, you know, kind of our quality of life in Maine, the United States, New England, or whatever, even internationally. And I think that that's the important thing for me, is that they are looking to be citizen X and making a positive impact.
I mean, I appreciate both of y'all being here. Honestly, thank you, Coach Deshon. Thank you, Professor Marsolias. If you're a Thomas student, you're a parent, you're a community member, anybody watching this video, thank you so much for tuning in and joining us here. Please, please, please communicate with one another. Build bridges, do not build barriers. The only way we can get past this is if we communicate and connect with one another. So thank you so much, and check back next time.